getting really tired of people saying that this is about race or it's about George Floyd. It's not. It's about injustice, systemic corruption in the government, about the fact that the rule of law depends on the consent of the governed, and that double standards like not prosecuting pedophile rings and human trafficking among the government, not prosecuting treason, not prosecuting people who in government used government authority to target political dissidents or opponents. It's about people who are obviously murderers still walking around, war criminals, never tried before tribunals. How many millions of people died in Iraq and Afghanistan? And then the other 6 or however many countries we've invaded since then with the next president, who, by the way, also legalized propaganda. For decades, this shit has been building up. Meanwhile, we watch people get crushed under police all over the country. Every single time it happens, there's some kind of a protest. The protest gets attacked by the cops. It turns into a riot. A bunch of ignorant motherfuckers start talking about, well, I'm all for protesting, but you're not for protesting. You are a fucking slave. You are a fucking simpleton and a sheep, herded around, told what to do, and obedient, if that's how you think. The Second Amendment exists to protect the First Amendment. When they trample on the First Amendment, it is time to see if they will trample on the Second Amendment. That's all there is to it. And that time is fast approaching. Whether you sitting at home, on your ass watching TV, listening to lies and liars and believing them like a fucking moron, the rest of us are seeing what's going on, and we are advocating for change. Now, could this eventually lead to some sort of civil war? It's very possible. But the reason is, we want change, and y'all don't even know there's a problem. That's the two sides that it's going to come down to. The people that actually want change, and the people that have no goddamn clue that there's even anything wrong, because they are hopelessly, permanently enslaved by the very same system that people like me want to change and tear down. So while it's peaceful around where I live, in other places it's not. I tell you what though, in the town that I live in, just a year or two ago, we had a cop shoot a guy in the back 5 times while he was running away from the cop. And they, to my knowledge, never proved that that guy ever had a gun. It's just tip of the iceberg. The straw that breaks the camel's back. George Floyd is not the reason for the carnage. Decades, almost a century of injustice at literally every level of the government, from local law enforcement, municipal governments, state governments, federal government. Corruption, injustice, leaders who are out of touch. Effectively, what are we paying our taxes for here, right? Because that is taxation without representation. They tell us that we have representation. I'm not even sure that our votes count. So, are we represented? I'll just leave it at that. If you think these protests are about race or about that one guy, you're fucking stupid. You are completely out of touch, and you need to get with the fucking program. If you think this shit is about property damage, I'm into protesting, but go fuck yourself. And after you're done doing that, clean up and go fucking learn about what's actually going on. Jeffrey Epstein, Smith Modernization, Operation Crossfire Hurricane, IRS targeting the Tea Party, 9/11, ooh, that's a good one. Smith Modernization Act was signed in 2012. That was the point at which the school shootings ramped up. Read about Smith Mont. It's about psychological warfare operations for national security purposes. All the people who have been brutalized, tyrannized. See, because that's the other thing. It's not even just the people that die. It's not even just the people that get their asses beat. It's the people that get tickets that they don't deserve, being charged money to fund local or state level law enforcement organizations through this illegal process of charging people money for violating laws. People are sick of it. People are tired of it. And it's about fucking time. Honestly, it's about fucking time. I have the last 15 years of being fully aware of what this world is and how it works. Fully aware. And I have waited for a time like this. Because things need to change, and they're not going to change until everybody stands up and says it. What is the percentage of a country's population, like ours, that is required to overthrow the government? Like 3% of the total population? At least that many people rioted last night. Now imagine if they were organized.